welcome into the CHGO White Sox podcast.
I saw post there.
You could have gone with Postponed podcast. That would have been hard to say, but yeah.
Ayo, welcome into the CHGO White Sox Postponed podcast.
It was hard to say, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did I do it right?
A lot of P's. Yeah, you did.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Presented by DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook. Download the app today. Use promo code CHGO when you sign up. Welcome into Studio A. What does C stand for? Big Apple?
That works.
A?
Air
Yeah,
quality.
what is the A? Oh, air quality. Look at you. There it is, Herb. The A stands for air quality. I'm Sean Anderson. You can follow me on Twitter at Sean_W_Anderson. Alongside me is the full CHGO White Sox crew. Got Vinnie Duber. You can follow him on Twitter at Vinnie Duber. He's our CHGO White Sox beat writer. And that's Herb Lawrence.
Hello.
You can follow him on Twitter at HectorWall23. He's our CHGO White Sox community leader, being produced today by Stephen Nicholas. I guess we'll get to that later because we got a segue. So I'll bring him up. So I want to talk to Steven.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned, folks. We are not going to be bringing you a pregame or postgame today because, again, the air quality has canceled the game. This is not the first time that a game has been canceled due to air quality. Games in 2020 due to the California wildfires have been postponed. But I did like a tweet, I think it was yesterday, from DNVR Rockies, basically saying, like, this is like every Tuesday for us. So, I mean, poor air quality is, especially in the West, more common. So I think it's kind of shocking for us Midwesterners and East Coasters. What are you guys taking away from today being postponed and all the scenes of orange Manhattan?
Well, just the what jumped out to me was when the government is telling everybody to stay inside, when I saw the phrase urging residents to remain indoors. Probably playing a baseball game outside is a very bad idea. So good thing that Major League Baseball figured all that out and made sure that there was going to be no danger to the White Sox or the Yankees tonight, as well as the teams playing in Philly. The Phillies and Tigers also postponed today for the same reason. Not a good time up in Canada right now. I believe they've got over 200 active wildfires or something like that. It's in the hundreds. I know that.
Yeah, like 9 million acres.
It's a really bummer situation up there, and obviously we in the United States are just feeling the effects of it right now with all the air quality stuff. I mean, we talked about it yesterday. The air quality in Chicago is higher than it typically, or worse, I should say, than it typically is for this same reason. Obviously not enough to do what you saw the pictures from New York City today. Like you said, Sean, the orange skies for a while there, it looked like New York had been transported to Mars, and that's scary. That looks like the end of the world. And so, yeah, this is a bad thing that's going on in Canada, bad effects in the United States, so good thing that the White Sox are not playing tonight.
Yeah, I echo those sentiments. And I think that just to give a synopsis or a stark difference, Chicago right now is moderate. It's like in the 80s is the air quality.
76.
New York plus 300 plus. It's dangerous out there. Like, nobody is safe out there. And especially players who have been exposed to, respiratory illnesses as COVID was. Lucas Giolito, Yoan Moncada, to name a few on the White Sox. But, yeah, it's very dangerous for everybody, fans in the stands, broadcasters, people like Merck and James Fegan. It's being outside in New York is not a good thing. And I saw after they had postponed the game, Merck sent out a tweet that the White Sox were still out there playing catch and such. Like, hey, man.
Why?
Exactly. Get your ass inside.
Stop.
Yeah. There's a reason why we're not playing tonight's game. It's not like getting up free throws after a basketball game. No, just go home, relax, enjoy your hotel, the lobby, and that's all. But yeah, it's a good thing that saner and smarter minds prevailed in this. I don't know what took so long, but I'm glad eventually they got the job done and said, we're not going to do this. We're not even out of the clear for tomorrow's games, which are where this game is going to be gone to a straight doubleheader. But I'm glad that their smarter heads have prevailed and we're good to go as far as those players' safety, and we hope no lasting effects from them playing last night, which wasn't great either.
Well, and here's just a kind of an oddity, if you will. The White Sox get to add another strange situation to their history of it.
Oh, yeah.
They were in New York City for 9/11.
Mm-hmm. Oh, really?
And
yes,
their games were canceled. Obviously, all games were canceled, but their games were canceled right there. They were also part of that game in Baltimore. The civil unrest there that happened the protests that were there in Baltimore that one year forced the postponement of that night's game, and then the next day they played the game in an empty stadium. They locked Camden Yards up, and they played the game in the empty stadium. So obviously that one a bit more controversial in how the Orioles in baseball handled that. But here's another one now canceled because of wildfires in Canada. So just kind of another strange postponement for the White Sox.
Can we just ban the air from Canada? It's like, hey, come on. Until we figure everything out.
I mean, it's usually much cleaner.
And nicer. That's what I've always heard. The one thing, too, and you talk about tomorrow, or I think Vinny talked about tomorrow, right now New York Times has a smoke forecast, just showing kind of the smoke in with the, what is that? Airwaves, not
jet stream.
The wind.
Low front, the wind.
Yeah.
How it's blowing around the smoke. It still has the island of Manhattan completely covered in high poor air quality, like just high smoke density, until 2 a.m. tomorrow. So, I mean, that can still continue to linger over that island and cause more cancellations. Game will be starting at 4:05 Eastern, so 3:05 here. And then what's the exact wording on when Game 2 will start? Because it's free admission, right? Like, you buy one ticket and you get into both games, I think, at least so if you're in the New York area. That could be cool.
Single entry doubleheader, yeah. But the second game is going to start when it was scheduled to start, which would be 6:05 Central Time, unless the first game goes very, very long. If the first game is 3.5 hours, say, then it will just be a situation where it will start half an hour after the first game ends. But it will be no earlier than the original scheduled time of 6:05 p.m. Central Standard. Are we in Standard or Daylight? Central Time. There you go.
6:05.
6:05.
6:05 on your regular working clocks.
Correct.
And if it's broken, that's not our fault. And if it's off, again, fix that, folks. But yeah, we got a post game tomorrow. So after the second game concludes, we'll join you and talk about those games. You kind of talked about how this kind of puts the Sox in a bad position. Obviously, we don't know if these games are going to happen, but it was supposed to be, now I'm blanking, Peralta? No.
Vasquez.
Randy Vasquez. Randy Vasquez against Lance Lynn tonight, and then Severino was supposed to pitch tomorrow against Clevenger. Severino's not going to pitch game 1 against Lance Lynn. Clevenger's going to pitch game 2 against likely Randy Vasquez.
We didn't get the big Sev-Clev matchup.
Oh, God. We were hoping for it, right? I mean, that would have just been every headline of every paper, even in Omaha, Sev versus Clev.
Yeah, and I know people are looking at the stats right now like, oh, no, the better pitcher is the Randy Vasquez because he has a lower ERA. But no, it's just a blow-up last time that Severino pitched. And so he's only pitched, I think, 3 or 4 starts this year. He has been hurt most of the year. So trust me, Severino's a better pitcher than this Vasquez kid. So the White Sox don't catch a break of facing the lesser guy in Vasquez. But they have experience versus Severino. And I think one player, Steven, has multiple home runs versus Luis Severino. Do you know who that player is, Steven?
I don't off the top of my head.
I can tell from context clues.
Is it Andrew Benintendi?
It is Andrew Benintendi. He has 2 home runs and
So-
a 400 batting average.
Can I ask something, Herb? Since you brought it up, I'm not getting any time limits or
You're not.
I'm not getting dinged. Thank God. I don't have to go in the corner after the show. Has he faced any pitchers this year where he's had a career homer against?
He probably has, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I don't know. Just don't get your hopes up, folks.
Put your money down on
Again,
Andrew Benintendi tomorrow.
Less than 10 more plate appearances until it passes the Nick Magical line. Anyways, it's going to be an interesting game tomorrow because, I mean, I was worried about Lance Lynn, and we're going to talk about the bullpen later because Vinny has a brand new piece up at ALLCITY talking about Pedro Grifol and his impact on the turnaround for the White Sox bullpen. Got some exclusive quotes from Reynaldo Lopez and Kendall Graveman on how Pedro Grifol has helped him. But still, like James said, that it's likely Tanner Banks will be called up to be that 27th man. The bullpen might be in a tough position if Lance Lynn has a tough day and if Mike Clevenger has a tough day because we've seen Clevenger against right-handed dominant lineups struggle because he really can't locate that slider and it really becomes fastball dominant. So it could put the Sox in a tough position, but they do have an off day Monday, right? Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it's not the worst thing in the world if they don't go 6 innings, but you're hoping for 5 for both of them just because it's a lot of baseball to play in one day. And the air quality isn't going to be great. still probably going to be high. So, I mean, it might be difficult to play in.
We could get a fourth straight appearance from Liam Hendricks because of the weirdness of the schedule. The bullpen's well rested right now. Off day on Monday, off day unexpected today. I think, it's not great to play a doubleheader, but if in ideal situations, this is probably the best time because of all the rest they have had and all the efficiency they have had. And we'll go over the bullpen, how good they've been this year. But, yeah, I don't see this as necessarily evil or a bad thing that the bullpen might have to pitch. But I have faith in Lance Lynn getting the job done. He's been there. He knows New York. And he
played for that team.
Yeah, and he sees the example that Lucas Giolito gave to him. Yeah. Remember, he had the shave. He was all clean shaven. It was terrible.
I saw a picture, and I'm actually going to go steal it, and I'll send it to Steven. So, Steven, check that's it, Slack. Thank you. But it's a picture of Lance in a Statue of Liberty thing. Makes me happy. It's a funny picture.
I saw that.
It's a funny picture. Yeah, see, Herb's giggling. It's a funny picture. You'll like, Vinny, I know you. You'll like it. All right. We'll take a break here, and we'll let you know about our great sponsors over at Omaha Steaks. But then we'll, jump into Vinny's post and talk about the bullpen, because if this is going to be an important game for them, just with Lance Lynn's, second highest ERA in Major League Baseball, just behind Jordan Lyles and Mike Clevenger, who's been a rocky ride, they will definitely need to rely on that bullpen tomorrow. Want to let you know about Omaha Steaks, though. Very excited to make my filet mignon again from Omaha Steaks. They're very nice to send over a package. But if you want to really impress your dad this Father's Day, it's coming up. You're not too late, folks.
Week and a half.
It's enough time to ship. But urgency is here. All right, Father's Day is here, folks. You're going to get over 60% in savings, and plus, dads want steak. When you give your dad perfectly aged and oh so tender steak, when you perfectly cook them, you're going to have the time of your life. Your guy Dougie Fresh, who was trying to incriminate me today, apparently on the internet, thinking I'm stealing plants off of doorsteps on Ravenswood.
I did see that.
That wasn't me, folks.
It wasn't you at all.
I know he would appreciate, I think he's a father himself, a nice grilled steak, It's also hopefully nice if he shares it with you. Hey, Dad, got you these for Father's Day. Why don't we grill them up together? Great way to celebrate Father's Day.
And what your dad would say? No, I know how to grill. You don't. Get out of here. This is my job. I don't care if it's Father's Day. Get your ass out of there and grab a seat.
And for a limited time, when you go to omahasteaks.com and enter the code CHGO SOX, that's CHGO into the search bar, you'll be able to order the Dad's Favorite gift package for just $99.99. That's $99.99. Plus, you'll get 8 free Omaha Steak burgers with your order. I had these after I had the steaks. And, again, if you cook them right, folks, they're better than restaurant quality. I got to say, toast up the buns, put them in the broiler, maybe put a little mayo on that, butter on that, put it on the broiler for like a minute on high. Get your buns nice and crispy. Put a little, cheese down. You don't have to put lettuce down, Vinny. You're making it yourself.
This is cooking with Sean.
And then you can put a
Chef Sean.
Hey, I'm just saying, impress your dad.
I don't think Vinny minds lettuce on a burger.
I hate lettuce.
Oh, not on a burger?
I think lettuce is the worst food in the world.
He's been very clear that green bad.
I will eat any other vegetable before lettuce. I hate lettuce.
Meat good?
Meat good.
Yeah. These burgers taste like a steak on a bun and are ultra lean and pack a bold, intense.
Omaha Steaks can have that catchphrase, by the way.
Meat good.
Meat good.
Save over 60% on the Dad's Favorite Grill pack, and you'll get 4 bacon wrap fillets, 4 premium air-chilled boneless chicken breasts, 4 boneless pork chops, 4 gourmet jumbo franks. Who doesn't love that, too? I mean, come on. Chicago style, a little mayo, relish.
Big hurt.
Did you say mayo on a hot dog?
I don't know why I said mayo. I've been talking a lot. Mustard is I think what I meant to say.
Are you Canadian?
Yes.
Okay.
Look at my hockey jersey. And 4 made from scratch caramel apple tartlets and an Omaha steak seasoning. And plus the 8 free Omaha steak burgers for only $99.99. So don't wait. Go to omahasteaks.com and type in CHGO SOX into the search bar and order the Dad's Favorite gift package for Father's Day today. That's omahasteaks.com and enter keyword CHGO SOX into the search bar. Thank you to Omaha Steaks. And all right, so Steven, you like steaks.
I love steaks.
You should order this for your dad, and then I know you have a grill, so then therefore you can impress your dad and also have steak dinner. Boom. But you went to Stagg High School.
I did.
We're a classmate with Max Struess.
I was.
And he went to Lewis University.
He did.
One of our new sponsors. So shout out
Segue.
to Lewis University. Boom. At Lewis University, many of our students are adults just like you. Many have full-time jobs. Many have families. All of them choose Lewis' supportive education community to help make their transition back to school as easy as possible and earn a respected degree. It is 35 miles southwest of Chicago. Lewis is a comprehensive Catholic university ranked as one of U.S. News and World Report's top-tier colleges. Lewis partners with numerous employers for tuition discounts, and courses are offered in evening, online, and blended formats to help you balance work, family, and education. And they can offer career support and academic resources for adult students. Whether you're looking to complete your bachelor's degree, enroll in a professional certificate, or graduate degree, Lewis has the right program for you. Lewis offers career-focused programs in business, computer science and technology, criminal justice, education, nursing, and many high-demand fields. We are one of their programs I'm very proud of is their nursing program, because that's where my cousin Maggie went. She went to Ball State first. Wasn't really for her, and she got her nursing degree, went to Lewis, was able to travel from home. He's trying to get something. The door's open. Was able to travel from her house in southwest Chicago and able to get her nursing degree. And she was now working at Christ, just in Oak Lawn, and she's killing it. And she got her degree from Lewis. So very proud of Lewis. There's the logo, and you can go to lewis.edu/you-can-do-this to discover how a degree from Lewis can help you build a better world. And again, learn more at lewisu.edu/you-can-do-this.
You know who went to Lewis other than Max Struess?
My cousin Maggie.
He just got done saying that, Herb.
got it.
I know you were concerned about the door, but
It was blowing open, and like the thing was about to fall
Yeah,
down.
I was
The
very
light
confused. I walked up to him like, this door's closed.
The light was about to fall down. Jay Zawoski.
Oh,
He went to Lewis University. I used to visit him when I didn't know him. We have a mutual friend named Jill, and so I went to Lewis University all the time, not as a student because I wasn't smart. But I went to visit Jill and saw Jay Zawoski there for the first time. Then we both worked at the Score for like 20 years.
and now you work here together.
Now we work here. He's
Look at that.
following me.
Inseparable.
So go to Lewis University. You can
go
meet
to-
your soulmate.
Yeah, go to Lewis University to be best friends with Herb Lawrence.
your soulmate is Jay?
That's what I just
We're
heard.
about
yeah.
the same.
You've seen them in the same room?
We like food. We all both like hockey. Who doesn't?
They're pretty cute together. They're cute
Have
pair.
beards.
You too. So no White Sox baseball. We are very sad about that, Alex. I would like some White Sox baseball. It'd be nice.
You'll
but
get some
here we are.
tomorrow.
Hopefully, we'll get double
Twice as
dose.
much.
Boom.
Double
But-
your pleasure, double your fun.
To fill your time, you can read Vinnie Duber's new article over at allchgo.com. Exclusive quotes from Reynaldo Lopez and Kendall Graveman. We got some stat graphs. We got some quote graphics. But why not talk to the author himself, the auteur
Wow,
himself.
the author.
This is, I think, one of the more first pieces that we're kind of seeing Pedro's leadership stand out. Obviously, there's many different ways, but, I mean, how do you think that it is defined for the bullpen? Because this isn't really his realm, right? We think of this as Ethan Katz's realm and Kurt Hassler's realm, but Pedro obviously is managing all 26 men on this roster. So how is he able to, really step his foot into the pitching game and communicate with those players?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that Pedro's necessarily doing anything that other managers aren't, but it's definitely something that people don't see, that fans don't see. This is not something that happens during the game necessarily, or something that happens in front of the TV cameras in general. It's something that goes on after the game's over. Maybe someone needs a pep talk in the clubhouse. It happens while guys are just doing work. Maybe he wanders over and says, "Hey, man, heard you had a great bullpen. Keep it up. We believe in you," kind of thing. And those votes of confidence from a manager are helpful. They're big to these players. I talked to Kendall Graveman. I talked to Reynaldo Lopez. Both of these guys said that it's made a big difference. Pedro's positivity and his belief in them, his confidence that he is not just saying, "I'm confident in you." He's giving them a reason to be confident in themselves. And again, I don't think that it's something that Tony didn't do or Ricky didn't do or Robin didn't do or anything like that. It's just that here's a here's a firsthand example from these guys telling me that this happened, and I can pass it along to everybody else, and people can go, oh, then that's a little different. I'm watching at home, and maybe I'm just judging Pedro based on the way the lineup looks or the way he's managing the pitching staff, the pinch hitter that he put in or didn't put in kind of thing. Doing the whole armchair managing thing, does he meet what you would have done if you were at the controls? But there's much more to this job than those in-game decisions. And when you can hear examples of them that have really paid off, then that's a big deal. So, I heard Reynaldo Lopez say he came up to me and Pedro came up to me and reminded me that I'm good, that I've been good, because sometimes you forget. And it would have been easy for Reynaldo to forget with the April that he had. His ERA was up over 8, I think, by after the first number of outings for him, as you'll show. He's been pretty fantastic since, and it just took somebody to come along and say, remind yourself. I'm going to remind you, but you need to remind yourself that you can do this. He said he's changed his mindset when he's on the mound. And this is a guy who's been doing this for a while in Reynaldo. This is not some kid fresh up from the minors. Kendall comes along and says any player needs to be reminded of this from time to time. And I think this is the approach that Pedro has, like you said, with all 26 guys, plus the guys that come in and out via roster moves and stuff like that. Just because you don't see it on the TV camera, on the broadcast during the game, doesn't mean that these very important things that is part of a manager's job description are happening. If you were mad about the Luis Robert Jr., Pedro Grifol communication snafu and thought that it flew in the face of everything that Pedro was saying about communication when he was introduced, this is communication, and this is an example of it going very right.
Yeah, and we have that quote from Raylo that you were referring to about Pedro, hyping him up here. He came to me and was like, quote, just focus on how good you are, end quote. This helped me out a lot, just thinking about that on the mound. It's working, and not only doing this to him, but also the other relievers as well. We'll get to Kendall, who basically said the same thing in his own words. But Raylo, the first instant he had in 2023 being the closer, gives up a moonshot to Yordan Alvarez. Could be pretty crushing to confidence. And I know you were a big proponent of the ninth inning matters. You have to have the chutzpah to pitch in that moment, right? And we know Liam Hendricks wants that moment, so it's not really surprising to see him in back-to-back moments here. But Raylo, if you want to go to his stats, Steven, over the scoreless streak, past 9 games, 9 2/3 inning, no earned runs, no home runs, 5 walks, 9 Ks, 5 walks in those 9 2/3 innings means his FIP is going to be a little bit higher, fielding independent pitching, just because he is putting base runners on, but as you can see,
they're not scoring.
They're not scoring. What do you make of Raylo? Could it have been just a tough game, a tough at-bat, kind of got his confidence off the tracks and just needed somebody to kind of pull him back onto the tracks here? Because I always said the stuff was fine. He was throwing 99, and then he followed up with a 92-mile-per-hour slider, and then Yordan Alvarez hit it to the moon.
Yeah,
I'd throw my hands up and just be like, oh, well. Like, there was one time in Little League, the biggest kid came up and it was like, oh, are you actually like 10 or are you like 14? Like, he's just like
12.
Yeah, 6'3". And it's like, okay, well, I'm going to throw this like lob. I'm going to throw it as fast as I can, and you're going to hit it out to the street over the fence. That's like 300 feet, and the fence is like 150. Like, that really does feel like just Yordan Alvarez at this point. But, like, can one moment really take a player off that track?
I've never played the game, but I can imagine it did. We talked when Liam Hendricks got here, and I think his first press conference, he said, I'd rather throw a horseshit pitch with confidence than a great pitch with no confidence. And so that's kind of in that same realm. Like, you have to have that mindset that this dude, like where you were talking about that dude who's you're going against, you knew you were going to get hit. And so that mindset is you're going to get hit, and you were right. I think you put that out into the atmosphere, and that happened. And that's what Pedro's doing. He's putting good, positive thoughts in Raylo's mind to remind himself. And so then his mind says, okay, I am good. Remember last year? I did this, that, and the other. F all that garbage I did early in the season. It's a new season now. Now I can go and execute my pitches. And so, yeah, positivity goes a long way. And it's not for nothing that, Pedro says this. He has a lot on his plate. The team has been bad for the most part this year. And for him to take people aside and say, hey, man, don't even worry about that crap. you are good. And giving them, instilling confidence in those players and telling them that they're good, don't worry, and having a little burden off of their shoulders because this is their livelihood. I know Reynaldo doesn't think he's going to get sent down, but there's always a chance. If you have an 8 ERA early, you failed as a closer, I put those in quotes, you can get down on yourself, and this is his walk year too. So he's like, man, I'm not, putting myself in the best position to further my career after this. So he probably got down on himself.
Sent down before too.
Yeah,
2021. And
so he's like, those positive affirmations, those words are working for him, and maybe he had just all he needed to hear is somebody else say it. Because maybe he has the stuff, as you said, the fastball's been there, the slider's been there, but it's been getting hit hard, and that's probably because he's not throwing those pitches with conviction and confidence that it's not going to get hit hard, as he saw Yordan Alvarez turn his slider right back around. But yeah, I think positive affirmations and positive mentality is a good thing. And I'm not saying that Tony didn't have it, but he's a veteran. He's a Hall of Fame manager. So maybe he doesn't go to every player and say the things that Pedro says, or Pedro says it a different way, and it works. And kudos to these players to be open to listening to a rookie manager and taking in that advice and saying, you know what? Some people would say, you just got here. I've been here for such and such years. I'm good. But it's good that they're like ready. Even Kendall Graveman, a vet of the game, listening to Pedro, ingesting those words and saying, that's my leader. If he's going to give me good positive energy, I'm going to put that out there in the mound. So, yeah, it's good that Pedro Grifol is instilling this in his players, because we've seen it so many times of the old school baseball we were talking about yesterday, Vinny, where managers would yell at you. Managers would tell you, hey, you're not doing this, that, and the other. You're not going to be pitching for a little bit while. Like Earl Weaver used to berate his players. And that's pitching out of fear. Now, Reynaldo's pitching out of confidence. That's much better. You want to have that clear mind when you're out there on the mound, not worrying about, am I going to be here next? What's my next role? What's my next pitch? I think Pedro instilling confidence, say, hey, man, you're fine, and we're going to trust you when the next time you go out there, goes a long way, and you see the numbers are showing up.
Well, and you bring up the Tony thing. Like, I was watching Sunday Night Baseball with the Dodgers and Yankees, and they talked about Freddie Freeman and just about how relationships are so important in baseball, and that just leads to they first led off with like Jake Bauers and how he has a relationship with someone at the Yankees minor league, so that's how he ended up with the Yankees to refix his swing. Like, he was ready to quit baseball, but that relationship kept him in the game, and now he's producing with the Yankees. But then they went to Jason Hayward, and it was basically like they don't really tell you anything different at the Dodgers. It's just kind of sometimes you just need a different voice to tell you the same thing. So, maybe it's just different energy. Maybe it's just, we even kind of saw it a little bit with Miguel Cairo, like at the end of the year. Then they kind of, fell out of it against Cleveland, and I don't think they really wanted to play baseball anymore.
Well, they weren't a different team, were they? You know what I mean? They were. No. They obviously did respond immediately to Miguel Cairo, but then they kept doing the same thing they had done all year because they were the same team.
They ended up at 81 and 81.
Right.
So, but even with the Graveman thing, like the quote that he gave you, Vinny, is even when we've had some bad outings, Pedro's there to talk to us individually and say, hey, we still have confidence in you. The good thing for Kendall Graveman, if we want to go to that, he has a scoreless streak of his own, right? You talked to two really good pitchers. But,
I only talk to the best.
Right. So watch out. Vinny's talking to you. You can hang a star on that one. What's that? 14 games, 14 and third innings pitched, 0 earned runs, 0 home runs, 5 walks, 14 Ks, and a FIP of 2.59. But he's just been, lights out. I didn't even know it was up to 14 games at this point. How could you not be confident in yourself when you're going out there 14 straight times you're doing your job?
We've seen this, like, just in your own profession or lives. Like, I know I don't like to mix sports and regular jobs, but somebody at your job or, somebody outside your job sees you doing a good job or falling to the side, you get a positive word from that person. You're like, you know what? That person's right. I am not as bad as I'm thinking in my own mind. You can sabotage yourself. The mind plays tricks on you. And I think you wrote it in the article, and you guys should definitely go and read that. Like, Major League Baseball players, I would think they would have confidence problems like all the time because of they're on the biggest stage. They're on national TV. They make a bunch of money, so there's a lot of expectations on them.
And some guy who's the best pitcher in the world is out there trying to strike you out.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you strike out, it's not like that you're bad.
Exactly.
He's just really good. But like you said, it could carry over. And I think you bring up a great point. Like, this is, everybody always tells you that this is a very mental game. And again, it's easy to forget. I think, again, the point of what I wrote today was like, hey, think about Pedro, think about players, think about the White Sox in a different way than you're used to. Because what are we always used to? How good is somebody? Oh, let me go to their baseball reference page and check. Let me see the stat columns and let me compare the stats and compare the numbers. There's no stat column that is positive thoughts per at bat. Or, you can see their batting average. There's no fourth slash line number that is current level of confidence in yourself, right?
There is TWTW.
There is TWTW, but you're going to have a hard time finding that stat. I think there's only one guy who keeps that, and he's got a database in Granger, Indiana.
He's not really writing things down.
No, probably not. Maybe texting them to somebody. But yeah, and so I think that there are a bunch of elements to this game that even the people who think they know it best, and who do know it very well from watching it their entire life, from following it their entire life, have no clue about some of these other things that are going on. And so anytime you can bring that to the fold and show it working on top of it, I think it's very useful to people.
Jared's sharing the Scrabble of PTAB, positive thought per at bat.
Yeah,
plus.
It's on a 100 scale, right?
We got to weigh it.
Yeah.
But I mean, even Graveman. I mean, we saw him in the eighth in the bigger moment yesterday. I know we kind of talked about that during the game. But I mean, Graveman's been electric. Reynaldo's been electric. They're gonna have 2 games tomorrow. I know. Marcos is like, oh, this is gonna ruin their momentum. You know, they got 4 straight wins. Someone just sneeze. What was that?
Oh, is that Jake? He's all right?
No one's. That was all right. I hope we caught that on camera. Please tell me we caught that on camera. No one's. I don't think anyone's.
I hope their back is all right.
A ghost. But Marco's saying, this is going to ruin the White Sox momentum. But I mean, it is possible that Lance Lynn has a good start. Could be possible that Mike Clevenger has a good start. I mean, they both can have a bad start, and we're worried about the bullpen. Could also have a good start. And, I mean, maybe the situation arises where Reynaldo Lopez, just because you just played a game before, has to close out the game. I mean, are you worried in even those scenarios? Because they have had the closer by committee that if Liam Hendricks appears in his 4th straight game, he's not going to appear in his 5th straight game. So someone's going to have to close out the game. Like, there's a lot of guys that they can trust right now in this bullpen because it's not where they were in March and April.
Let me just say that I hope they get into that situation where Reynaldo Lopez is trying to close out the game for the White Sox 6th win in a row because they won the game earlier than that because Liam closed out the 5th game in a row.
Or that 5th game could be like 10-1.
Then I would love. Then I would want Reynaldo Lopez in that 2nd game. That'd be great.
Pitching 3 innings.
Yeah. But yeah, I think if he's still harboring those thoughts of, hey, I'm not a closer, or hey, that guy hit me that one time when when I was in the closer role I didn't succeed. Yeah, that will be a detriment to him. But hopefully Pedro and himself are working on the confidence and working on, I'm actually good. I'm really damn good. Look at my ERA last year. Look at how dominant I was. People were put me in this position to be the closer this year because how good I was last year. And these 9 last relief appearances, I've shown that I'm that guy. I'm that dude. So I wouldn't have any qualms about him going to the bump in the 9th inning if he was the guy that was available. Like if they used Kelly, Graveman, and then Liam in the 9th inning for the first game, and then they need to go to another strong person. Yeah, I wouldn't have any qualms if he still got the right mindset.
And we've left out of this discussion a guy who Pedro has kept listing among the guys that he's confident sending out there in the 9th. That's Keenan Middleton, who has been just fantastic for them this year. Obviously, we bring up Santos a lot because we like to have fun with him being Groot. But he's a guy who has been very workmanlike and has gone in many different situations. Middleton has been deployed in those kind of closer type, high leverage type situations and succeeded. So, make sure you expand that list to include him too, because he's somebody that Pedro keeps bringing up as being among those guys.
I don't even think we mentioned Joe Kelly a lot either, and I understand that he's had a little bit of a rockier road in his last 5 games. 4 of them have been against Detroit, just to be a little fair. And then he did give up the first hit yesterday, but as we talked,
And a
I
run.
don't know if that's really, yeah.
2 hits in a row.
I
So
mean,
a walk, 2 hits in a run yesterday?
I don't know if that run scores.
Yeah,
too.
I don't
mean,
necessarily count it against him. I won't say, oh, he had a bad outing yesterday.
No, they won the game. He got a hold. But, from April 30th to May 23rd, 10 2/3, 2 hits, 0 earned, and 15 strikeouts with no walks.
He's got the nastiest stuff in the bullpen.
I mean,
bar none.
it was a 94-mile-per-hour curveball.
I mean, there's very few people in the major leagues that are nastier out of the bullpen than Joe Kelly is.
Absolutely. And, they're in a spot where the bullpen just really looks like it's thriving right now. Let's go to the month-by-month stats, too, just to kind of show you. 99 2/3 innings pitched in March and April.
Very pensive Aaron Bummer.
Yes, the thinker.
Poor Jake Diekman
Oh, that's Jake Diekman. Okay.
blowing
The
on his
lefties.
hand.
Jake Diekman's hands are cold in that picture, which that happened to all of us
I
in
think
March
he was
and April.
choking, actually.
Wow.
Oh, God.
Wow.
Steven.
Steven hates Jake Diekman.
K per 9 of 10.75, a walk per 9 of 5.15.
Oof.
Yikes.
Yee.
ERA of 6.86. Where
Worst in baseball? Worse than the A's?
I think that's where Lance was. Lance's current ERA, I think, is 6.86. I'm not trying to make a joke.
I think it's 6.60.
Oh, is it? Oh, because he had the good start. I think before it was 6.86. A FIP of 4.49, still bad. Lower than the ERA, but, I mean, they were doing a lot wrong. And a home run per 9 of 1.81, worth a full -1 F4 in March and April. And then in May, things started turning around. Joe Kelly had a great May. 98 2/3 innings pitched, an 8.21 K per 9. That went down, but the walk per 9 went down, 3.83. The home run per 9 went down from 1.81 to 0.82, and that ERA from 6.86 to 3.28. Nearly worked a full win in May, and then so far in June, they've been electric. 13 2/3 innings, 9.2 K per 9, so that's gone up. The walks still going down, 2.63 per 9, an ERA of 1.32. And again, one of those was an earned run against Joe Kelly that was kind of iffy, and a FIP of 3.06, which is fantastic, and a home run per 9 of 0.66. So now, with that 0.3 WAR, they are a positive unit for the year. So they've turned around all of that bad will, and hopefully they can continue.
For a team
that.
that's still 8 games under 500.
Yes. Well, again, and that's the issue. Steven brings it up right before the show. It's like, with all this results, is it still bad that they spent all this money in the bullpen? Yes. Yes, because the bullpen isn't that isn't the most important.
Though.
Oh, I know,
Yeah.
but I just, I think now's a fair time to bring up. The bullpen can be great, and I think it's really important in the postseason. But to get to the postseason, I think
you can say
starting
right now
pitching
that for
batting
that's
more.
correct. They paid that money for the postseason, but also they're getting what they paid for right now. They're getting the sort of performances. Again, small sample size if we're just using the last month or so, but they're getting what they thought they were going to get when they said, let's put this money on Kendall Graveman, let's put this money on Joe Kelly, let's put this money on Liam Hendricks. This is what they thought they were going to get. And so to that degree in that discussion, it's paying off because they're getting the dominant bullpen that they invested in to have.
Hey, Steven,
yes, but
can you bring up the May graphic one more time if you could? Sean, do you know why opposing batters didn't do well in May?
I don't know.
They messed with the bull.
Oh, so they got the horns.
Yeah, you goddamn
There
right.
you go. Nice.
Look at my man giving that nice. I forgot that teacher's name. That movie was great.
Principal something.
Breakfast Club.
I'm trying to think of the name.
Breakfast Club. Oh, the
No, I
principal
was trying to
name?
think of the name of the. Who's the guy that plays it? That's such a that guy.
I don't know. He's. I think he's.
Good at being
he's
a bad
always
guy.
been a character actor. I think Maine West.
Yes.
It was filmed at.
Was it Maine West? I know it's in the area.
Maine
Paul
West or
Gleason, Vernon. Richard Vernon.
Vice principal Richard Vernon. He's not even the principal.
Because he's working on the weekends.
He had to work on the weekend. Yes, everybody was.
You know what? He was well dressed for a vice principal on a Saturday.
Yeah,
he was well dressed in that movie.
Maybe
They
he just
had
went out to the
stylists.
clubs on Friday and he's like, I'm just gonna go back into work.
Maine North.
Maine North.
Maine North.
Nope, not there anymore. Right? Not a real school anymore.
Oh, really?
I don't think so. I don't think they do Maine North anymore. I think it's West and South.
They had to cancel the football program at that high school because Judd Nelson is frozen. He's never
left.
been removed from the football
It's just
field.
a statue now.
It was closed when they filmed it.
Okay.
It closed in 81.
All right.
So, there you go. They were the black and gold Norsemen.
Ah.
All right. But my point, too, though, yes, the bullpen has been dominant, but even this year so far, over 200 innings, they're worth 0.3 WAR. Like,
right. They were real bad in April.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, I get that at this point they're dominant, but again, like, how much can they actually turn the tides? Like, you have to be putting them in a position through the first 5 innings to put them in a spot to win. Because even Kendall Graveman, like, that's 14 innings and 14 games. It's really stretching back all the way to the start of May. Like, I mean, even though he's been the guy to close out the White Sox and they're 11-3 when he pitches, like, they're still 8 games under 500.
Yeah, and I think the starting pitching, if you're just talking about bullpen success as a whole, you do have to throw some credit to the rotations way because they need to go 6-7 innings in a game in order to, for the bullpen to keep the efficiency up and keep the stamina up to be able to do that each and every night. So they definitely deserve, or that's definitely part of that story. Listen, we've covered this team every day since the start of the season. We well know what their problems are and that they have not solved all of them by a long shot. But the bullpen looks great right now. I think the starting pitching is right there with it. Not quite as dominant, but pretty close. And then the offense is kind of what we're all still waiting to see do. Again, if we're talking about what the White Sox thought each of these units were going to do, they're getting it now from the bullpen. The starting pitching is close. The offense is still far off.
And at least to the main focus of the story you wrote about being Pedro and the effect on the bullpen, at least the main topic yesterday of the no-hitter from Lucas Giolito, I mean, we have seen that an example from Pedro Grifol on a starting pitcher as well, being like, hey, when you were in the opposing dugout and we saw that you were on the bump and you had that look in your eyes, like, we knew that we were just absolutely screwed. So, like, have that look. You're that guy. I know you can be that guy. And Lucas has been that guy this entire year. And, I mean, with multiple starts, only White Sox pitcher in history to have multiple 6-inning no-hit starts.
And Pedro, too, has described that approach as being team-wide. You know what I mean? Obviously, different guys need to hear different things. Different guys are going to be receptive to different strategies. But Pedro, when he talks about the offense, that he believes the offense is coming around, he says the same thing. These guys have been good. These guys have done it before. These guys have hit at, to bring up everyone's favorite Rick-Hanism, these guys have been Silver Sluggers before. These guys have been all-star caliber players before. If you're talking about guys who have struggled, like Tim Anderson, Andrew Benintendi, all-star track records for both of those guys. So Pedro is probably saying a lot of the same stuff that we heard him talk about with Reynaldo, heard him talking about with Kendall and the other bullpen pitchers. He's probably saying a lot of that same stuff to the hitters too. And whether that is going to be the only thing that drives them to any success, we'll find out. It probably is a mix of a lot of things, but certainly can't hurt, I would imagine.
Well, and we brought up too what Pedro said about Berger not playing, and who wouldn't want Jake Berger in the lineup. You talked about him always staying ready, providing pinch hit home runs. I think he doesn't have his confidence broken when he's not in the lineup because it's not really a him issue. It's a lineup issue, even though this team is, again, 8 games under 500. We'll take a break and we'll talk more about the Sox, obviously, and let you know, though, about some of our fantastic sponsors. Want to let you know about Shady Rays. Take on the sun with gear built to last. Our friends at Shady Rays have you covered with warm weather ahead with premium polarized shades at an affordable price. Look at Vinny's fantastic shades. Shady Rays is an independent sunglasses company that offers a world-class product that's just as good as any expensive pair we've worn. They have durable frames and extremely clear optics for outdoor adventures. And that's not all. Shady Rays offers the most insane protection program in all of eyewear. Every pair of sunglasses backed by lost and broken replacements. If you lose or break your pair, even on day one, it tells us that they will send you a brand new pair. No questions asked. Wear your Shady Rays with confidence because they have your back long after your purchase. And if you don't love your Shady Rays, you can exchange them for a new pair or return them for free within 30 days. There's no risk when you shop. Their team always has your back. And exclusively for our listeners, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal of the season. Go to ShadyRays.com and use code CHGO for 50% off 2+ pairs of polarized shades. Try for yourself these shades rated 5 stars by over 250,000 people. Again, ShadyRays.com and use code CHGO. We're told to, is this, I don't know, might be going golfing soon. That's what we heard. Right?
Might be.
So we know we're going to be decked out in our Pins and Aces gear. I know Steven already rocked the golf course with his Pins and Aces gear, and we are going to have to brave the course some point this summer, and we'll be looking good. Pins and Aces is the official golf apparel partner of ALLCITY and CHGO. We love our Pins and Aces gear, and we'll be getting tons of compliments on and off the course at our all-company-wide golf outing. Should be fun.
We'll see what happens. I've golfed twice in my entire life, so I would alert wherever we end up playing. I would send out a citywide alert to that place saying your windows are in danger.
You'll be looking your best, though.
Oh, I'll be looking great.
The best you'll ever
I don't think
look
I'll
on
be
a golf
playing
course.
very well, but I'll be looking great.
They make amazing polos, hats, golf bags, and even our favorite beer sleeve. And Pins and Aces, too. When you go to their website and browse their site, not only do they have apparel and all this great stuff to make your golf game more fun, but they understand that it's not just about golfing. Maybe it's about enjoying a few cold ones. So, hey, I mean, do you like beer?
I do.
There you go.
Tell me more.
Oh, well, they have an innovative product that allows you to store 7 beers right inside your golf bag and keep the drinks cold the entire round. So even though you might not like golf, you do like beer.
That's what
and
golf
it'll be cold beer.
That's what golf was made for. Beer.
There you go. So check out
actually playing. Who actually plays golf? It's dumb.
If you do, check out pinsandaces.com and use code CHGO.
Drink beer.
Receive
while you play
15%
golf.
off your first order and get free shipping. That's pinsandaces.com and use code CHGO for 50% off your first order. Also want to let you know about FOCO. That Tim Anderson bobblehead right in front of us was donated from our friends over at FOCO. They have donated a few awesome pieces to our set, including the Vinnie Duber bobblehead. And Herman is now kind of confusing bits here. He says, you look like Jake
He's
Berger.
got a new bit.
Yeah, he says, you look like Jake Berger.
The
So have
same
we ever
face.
seen Jake Berger and Vinny in the same person, or are they derived from each other in some way? A clone? Care to comment?
They're both from Missouri. Well,
We
went
both
to Missouri
went to
schools.
school in Missouri. We
Yes.
both went to college in Missouri.
One
That's true.
likes terrible pizza, one doesn't.
Correct.
Guess which one?
So you say no?
No, I am not Jake Berger.
Okay.
Because if I was, I'd be in New York City right now.
He has no comment about Southpaw. Get fitted in the best
Well,
sports gear
Southpaw
around.
is not in New York City, so I can't make that.
Funny that you
use
know where
that fact.
Southpaw is. You
They don't travel mascots. This isn't college football.
You got a Southpaw locator on your phone. I know you do.
the marching band too with softball
Yeah.
on the
And
sidelines.
speaking of college football, since you're still in this ad read, you can get all the great Arkansas Razorbacks bobbleheads that you want on FOCO.
Hell yes.
Woo,
They
Big
got
Sue.
hoodies,
Woo Pig Suey.
shoes, signs, bobbleheads, and everything in between. And since it's spring and baseball season, they have Aloha shirts, straw hats, polo bags, everything you need for a game. So check out FOCO.com. That's FOCO.com, or click the link in the description below. And for all non-presale items, just the promo code CHGO for 10% off.
What is the Arkansas Razorback mascot's name?
Crazy.
Miss Piggy. No.
It's a man. Tusk. His
Is
name
it?
is Tusk.
No way.
Oh Jesus.
Yep.
Ugh.
Yep.
I'm gonna hear about that terrible album again.
It's their fight
And
song.
marching band,
Oh,
you brought
no.
it up. Oh, man.
God, it's
The book's not on the set.
Well, they don't play today, though.
But
They don't play today.
As Marcos was worried, it's going to ruin the mojo.
not really. We're not playing
gonna
today.
Did
ruin
you
the
buy
mojo.
that book?
Yeah.
Or who bought it? You?
Yeah.
I love those
On
books.
purpose?
I've
33
got a
and thirds.
bunch of those at home.
Oh, they're great books.
They're
like,
awesome. They're
it's
quick
it's
reads.
Yeah,
But they're chock full of musical information. They're
written.
great.
Every book has a different author too, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So,
You can actually do submissions.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So maybe one day.
Which one would you do for your 33? I can't do
Well,
Tusk. Thank you, Steve.
No, you can't do Tusk.
Thank
Tusk's
you.
been done. There it is.
That's off camera.
Oh, that's off camera. Damn.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a good question. It would have to be one that could write about well, kind of thing.
You got
'Cause
an
they're
album
not-
you write a
some of-
33 and a third book about? It's just like the
They're
the
not
history of
all.
it.
They're not all like. Here's how they made the album. Bop bop bop. Like some of them are like that, but I have one that is like the author wrote like a short story that just like centers around the band and the album, but it's like fiction. So like it could be anything. And oh wow, Tuskcam.
Tuskcam.
Hashtag Tuskcam.
We need a graphic for Tuskcam.
But yeah, so I don't know. That'd be a tough one. I'd have to think about that for a while. But there's like I was looking at the list today. There's like over 150 of them or something like that. They're good. I like them.
Absolutely. I mean, they're thin too. They're not always a big read. And that one's more about like the making of the album because it's
Many of them are right. Yeah.
This one's like a historically just
Sure.
bad train wreck of an album. Most expensive album ever when it was made. And as you guys like to tell me, it's bad.
It is.
You guys have no taste.
I put Tusk the song on the other day, and my wife said, "This is terrible. Turn it off."
My guy Baloney Fonseca, who is going to be co-hosting with me when you two are out on Sunday, the Bums, Chicago Sports Bums. I got two in the front. and then for pregame, and then 2 in the back for postgame.
Line change.
Yeah, exactly. So Baloney will be on the postgame with me, and him and Jason will do the postgame while Dougie and Johnny do the pregame with me. But he says Snoop Dogg's Doggy Style, 1992, I believe. Great album.
Okay.
His seminal album. I don't know if
Would you do Tribe?
Oh yeah, there was probably my favorite Tribe album, Midnight Marauders.
There you go.
Like how hard it is to sample beats back in late 80s, early 90s. Because you don't have computers necessarily. You're just doing this with a record player, tape deck, or a 4-track. You're just doing that, or reel-to-reel, which is even worse, and splicing up tape and then looping the beat. So, yeah, it'll be really hard. Not like that Garbage Tusk. But they just brought in some other musicians to play their music.
Sideswiped.
It's terrible. High school, college bands.
I mean, they mostly play their own instruments.
I know.
I mean, Lindsey Buckingham, notably, very proud of his playing ability in his music.
He went his own way.
He did. Oh,
Yeah.
mercy. It was coming off rumors. It's tough to repeat a rumors. It's not supposed to be rumors. It's Tusk. People don't get that. Anyways.
It's like, let's do the best album we've done, and then follow it up with the worst. Break.
Hey, I mean, Kendall Graveman had 14 straight innings of scoreless baseball. He's going to follow it up with a Tusk soon,
Wow. He's predicting doom for Kendall Graveman.
That's baseball, baby.
Cut him now before he gets to that point.
It's one record.
He's in his
Sean,
rumors.
is Kendall Graveman going to the All-Star game, do you think?
I don't think so.
Boom.
I don't think
Smooth.
I don't think we're going to.
Smooth. Oh,
You guys want to do this? We could just have the show.
Might as well.
I set it up.
Might as well.
you
Yeah,
put it on a
yeah.
tee for
We
you.
gotta-
I
no,
know,
we're doing it.
like-
We're doing it. That was a
Alright.
smooth ass transition.
All right, who is most likely the White Sox All-Star representative, and why is it Luis Robert Jr.?
It's
I get the Kendall Graveman thing. It's likely, but like, how many relievers make it? And also, like, if Liam Hendricks has a good ERA, isn't he gonna be more of a candidate?
but he doesn't right now. And the run he gave up last night, what is his ERA now? It was 8+ before he got into that game last night. So yes, the story would be great for Liam, but I'm sure Liam's like, let me earn it. Like he said, let me
Yeah.
earn the
It'd
actual.
be great, though.
6.75 ERA, but he's not pitching like he has
But
a 6.75.
let's put it this way:
Four games.
in the spirit of the All-Star game being
An exhibition.
something that doesn't count and that is something that baseball fans want to tune into, Liam Hendricks should absolutely be on the All-Star team.
And
But
he's
I
been a
know the
star
man
'cause
would
of
be like,
swearing.
though, hey, I've been to a couple of All-Star games, and it'll be great if I go. But this guy, Kendall Graveman, this guy, Joe
Right,
Kelly,
right.
should go in my stead because they're having a better year. I think if we're counting which White Sox should go in, yeah, Luis is a top candidate, but they have a lot of center field candidates out there. You know, the guy that's gone all his years when he's played a full season, Mike Trout. But I think that they'll probably go to the last night's starter. Lucas Giolito will be the White Sox representative. That's who I'm going to right now.
Maybe.
I could see it, especially if he can keep hammering that ERA down a little bit too. I think, yeah. But again, too, it's like he's a pitcher. It'll be somebody else's decision that isn't a fan vote. Like,
Which is perfect.
Did you bring up? Were you mentioning Mike Trout?
Yes,
Okay.
Michael Nelson Trout.
I know this guy's injured, but also ridiculously still, Aaron Judge is a center fielder. So I guess
and he's got that 200 OPS
competition.
plus.
Yeah,
Yes,
pretty good.
real hard on Luis Robert Jr.
That's the one thing. Weighted runs created plus of 188. Mercy. I mean, maybe that's a boast to or a boost to Luis Robert Jr.'s candidacy. He is 0.1 WAR behind Mike Trout. Both have 13 homers.
Well, also, do you know whose OPS is more than 100 points higher than Luis Robert Jr.'s?
Who?
Jake Berger.
Right, but
He has no position, really, right?
yeah, I mean,
Sure.
DH is
I'm
a
not
position.
saying
is a
that he's
position
going
now.
to be the guy, but
I mean, Jordan will probably get
I mean,
DH.
is Luis Robert Jr. even the best hitter on his own team? Is what I was getting at.
Best hitter.
Yeah.
No, he's not.
I think that's a really tough. That's a tough question because he's not like a professional hitter. Like he's just kind of like hitting it as hard as he can. But so is Jake Berger. So it's like they kind of.
I guess my point is,
don't
does
know.
that put it in favor of a pitcher?
Jake Berger qualifies as a DH on the All-Star ballot.
Okay.
Yeah. But like,
Who's not on the All-Star ballot? Aloy?
Let's. Oh wow.
Or
Is he a-
Colas,
Let
probably.
me screen share this for everybody.
Aloy's a right fielder now.
I mean,
Is Aloy on the outfield ballot?
Let's see.
can you search Aloy?
I thought that Steven just picked Michael A.
You
Taylor.
can write in people, so maybe we could write in Aloy. we could vote
There's
for
Robert.
Stewie Ruiz.
There he is.
There's Aloy. He's in the outfield. There you go.
And then Benintendi too, right?
Yeah.
So there you go. I don't think Benintendi's getting in. I don't think Aloy's getting in. I don't think Moncada's getting in. Tim's not getting in. Definitely not one of the second basemen.
Or
Vaughn's
Yaz.
not getting in. Yaz or Sebi, even though he's hit 2 homers.
So it comes down to Robert Jr., Giolito,
Berger.
Liam, Berger.
Liam / Graveman.
Graveman would have a nice case, I think.
They're a pretty bad team. I don't know if bullpen's going to be like. I know stat wise that might wow people, but like the reason why the Tigers
They're going to get one guy.
The
They're
White
not
Sox
going to
will?
get a starter
Yeah,
voted in
correct.
unless White Sox fans decide that they want to, go nuts with everything. But yeah, they're going to get one guy,
That's
and
it.
so
Yep.
yeah.
All right. Well, that was one thing too. I was thinking like Tigers probably going to get like Alec Lang in, right? So like there's some instances of bullpens. I think like Ryan Noda will be the representation of the A's, right? So like they might take a batter, they might take a pitcher. I could see it being Lucas, Liam, Luis. Like I think those are probably the 3 biggest candidates. I'd be surprised
someone whose
by
first name
Berger.
starts with an L.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Jake Berger not making the team.
Lake Berger.
Berger or Robert in the home run derby from Bologna. I mean, they're both at 13. I mean, we haven't. What was the last White Sox to be in the derby?
That would be.
I feel like wasn't like Alex Rios in the derby.
I think
or
he
Paul
was.
Konerko.
Well, it wasn't Rios when he was with the White Sox. Rios won the home run derby when he was in Toronto.
Did Jermaine Dye do one? I mean, that's a long time ago now, but
Frank Thomas won one.
He did.
Is it Konerko? That's 2002. That's so long ago.
What was it?
Most recent White Sox player to hit in the derby was
can we have a year?
2016.
Jose Abreu.
2016.
I think so. No, it's not Jose Abreu.
Oh, Todd Frazier.
Todd Frazier.
Yeah,
Defending
because
his
he was a champion the year before. I forgot.
Also, didn't he hit 40 homers that year?
Yeah,
Or was that 17? One of those years with the White Sox, he had 40 homers.
Sass Hawk.
Yes.
I'm going down there. You take over.
Let me check on Todd. No. Yes.
No, yes.
Yes. 2016, he had 40 homers.
Yep.
35, 40, and then 16, and then was traded to the Yankees.
Man, we need that again.
I
He wasn't
think-
that great as a White Sox, as I recall, but those home runs would do well for the White Sox.
So I think Frank is the only one to win it.
But also,
That's
you
what I was
don't.
trying to say.
That used to be a thing where it was like they drew from the guys who were on the All-Star team. I don't think that matters anymore. I think
No.
they just like invite whoever will say yes.
Right.
Exactly.
Carlton Fisk in 85 was 37 at the time in the first ever home run derby with 4 homers.
So put Aloy in the home run derby.
Yeah.
That would be
You could.
entertaining.
He'll get hurt.
But like, I think it has to be somebody who is at least near the top of the home run leader, like Jermaine Dye in 2006 at PNC Park.
Sure. They could also very well find 8 guys who aren't White Sox.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
would
Paul
be-
Konerko in 2002,
No, it's
Frank
in-
Thomas in 95,
it's in
Todd
Seattle.
Frazier in 2016, and that's it.
So there's no connections, I don't think, in the White Sox to any of the Seattle people, unless you go with Graveman, who was a Mariner for a little bit, returning there. But I don't think any White Sox
No
is
one
a native to the area of the Pacific Northwest. Sometimes the people do that.
Is anybody a native of the Pacific Northwest?
I don't think so.
Nick Madrigal.
The closest you'd get
Vaughn?
would be Vaughn, but
Okay.
that's California.
It's terrible music.
Vaughn's terrible.
Yeah, the country he had last year.
Jeez. He changed it up to Johnny Cash. He's fine. Make sure you're hitting that thumbs up button. We're at Gordon Beckham, but we appreciate any thumbs up that you would like to share. Make sure you're hitting that subscribe button, and we also have the Bears Late Night Pod as well, and that's going to be starting at 8 p.m. So we got a ton of coverage for you on all of your favorite Chicago sports here on the CHGO Sports YouTube channel. Make sure you go read Vinnie Duber's post at allchgo.com. You can follow him on Twitter at Vinnie Duber. He's our CHGO White Sox beat writer. That's Herb Lawrence. You can follow him on Twitter at Ecknerall23. He's our CHGO White Sox community leader. And I'm Sean Anderson. You can follow me on Twitter at Sean_W_Anderson. We'll be with you after Game 2 for a post-game to wrap up the Yankees White Sox series tomorrow around 8:30. 8:45.
Oh man, 8:30 would be beautiful.
9 around there. I think we started around 8:45, so that'd be nice yesterday. And thank you, Stephen Nicholas, for producing the show. We will talk to you tomorrow after the Yankees White Sox game, and if not, we'll have another off day show if the game does get canceled, because there still is smoke in the forecast. So everyone, stay indoors and stay safe.
Watch your Twitter feeds for update on
absolutely
what we'll be doing.
The 150 Quebecian wildfires.
Yeah.
Mercy. Stay safe, folks. See you tomorrow.